This week on Zen and Not Zen.
My brother and I shit on each other all the time. I still love the fucking guy.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Like, I just missed a text from him. You know, it's not like I'm going to fucking ignore it. I'll look at it and probably respond and maybe go hang out.
Right.
But it's like, there's definitely, not every holiday, but there probably will be an argument this Christmas that I'm just going to be like, it's not going to be good.
Right.
But it's like, it's still going to involve me, absolutely dominating and destroying and winning, but that's not the point. It's not a matter of declaring
nobody's
victory.
keeping score.
Nobody's keeping score. I mean, I won.
We all just know.
I won, and I'm going to win. But it's not about declaring that. I'm not that guy who needs
You're
to
Babe
do
Ruth
that.
in that shit,
I don't need to sit there and declare victory. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that guy. If I was that guy, I would need to say I won.
Zen
Fuck you.
and Not Zen.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Zen and Not Zen.
Yes, doing it up.
Yeah, I did the intro because I kind of fucked up your intro. We might just use what I just did right there.
We'll just blend it together. Or maybe I'll just layer it.
With a delay, so you can't. So it just sounds like shit, and nobody can just hear anything. It'll just be like, well, welcome to
Yeah, it's like a bologna sandwich. Like, seems like a good idea until you eat it, and you're like, the white bread stuck to the roof of your mouth.
I got excited about a bologna sandwich like when I was probably like 19 or 20. It was right when I had first moved out and was trying to like figure out how to like buy groceries and shit. But I'm like, oh, bologna! My mom never let me, so I bought that shit. And I was like, this is why.
This is why mom never.
It sucks.
So my mom. So speaking of, my mom was in Michigan recently. My mom grew up in Michigan, in the Thumb. If anybody from Michigan,
The Thumb of the Mitten.
Exactly.
Not to be confused with the UP, the Upper Peninsula. That is not part of the Mitten. That's like the fucking, I don't know what they call that in the lore of the shape of the state.
Up north, I think they just say up north.
Yeah, King of the North.
Like everything is up north.
Yes, right.
But I was talking to mom. I was like, how was your trip? She was like, it was great. When I got there, I went and I got a fried bologna sandwich, and that was the best. A fried bologna sandwich and a bag of chips. And that's her nostalgia, right?
Yeah,
Peanut butter jelly is that for me, right? Peanut butter jelly. But hers is fried bologna sandwich.
We when we worked together, we had that prohibition menu, and we had that fried bologna sandwich on the menu.
Yeah,
I never
man.
fucking ordered it.
Yeah.
Like nobody ordered it either.
No. It didn't go off as well as we thought it would, but it's bologna.
Oh, it's like, you don't want to eat what people ate when they were extremely, extremely broke.
Right. But Spam stuck around, man. Spam's still very popular.
Dude, I was singing the praises of Spam not 2 days ago.
Really?
Shit, I might as well work for Hormel.
Do you like sear your sand?
Pan fry that beezy.
Yeah.
But the pro tip is I only like the hot and spicy Spam, which is harder to find. That's the Tabasco one. Yeah, so if you go to Hawaii, they have like literally they eat more Spam there than in
There's
the
like
rest
restaurants
of the world.
dedicated to Spam.
Yeah, like Spam mushibis at gas stations and shit. It's all great, but if you can find the hot and spicy Spam, which has the Tabasco, which I'm not a big Tabasco fan in general, but it works with that whatever the fuck meat that is.
Yeah, the first time I saw the Spam sushi.
Yeah, I love that.
So I had always heard about it, and I can't say I'm closed-minded. I just say I never actually tasted Spam. I just heard about it being a product and the jokes about it.
Well, we've all had hot dogs, but we just weren't introduced to it in that same way.
Right,
and it's really, in my mind, tomato. We talk shit. We just stuck our nose up at bologna, and it's the exact same shit. Right. It's all the same shit.
But so I was at a work event, and the chef that was doing the food, big ups to Adam Stevens. We did a Hawaiian night, and the first thing on the buffet was those salmon or those Spam sushis,
Spam musubis,
and I'm looking at him like you cheap son of a bitch, and he looked at me. He I didn't even know that was like a pretty traditional Hawaiian thing.
Wholeheartedly.
So I learned a big lesson, but also gave him a lot of shit at the same time.
Yeah, my buddy who was stationed out there, he swears by. He's like, dude. I mean, they're everywhere. Like any mini mart. Grocery store, gas station, 7-Eleven has them, like almost like as common as chips. Like, I mean, not that extreme, but very, very common.
Yeah.
He's like, for my money, the 7-Eleven one's the best, and the 7-Eleven one's good. I mean, I had it all over the place, but it's just so funny because it's just like a thing you will see everywhere.
Well, there you go.
It's very much,
The other thing so I was in
Replace a
Hawaii.
hot dog with a spam musubi because that's kind of the way you
Oh,
should kind of think about it.
okay.
But you see spam, but you don't see hot dogs everywhere. You see spam
Yeah.
musubis more than you see hot
Well,
dogs.
I grew up eating hot
I like
dogs.
hot
So
dogs.
I appreciate that link you just made there because that helps me to approach spam
Oh,
a
so you've
little
never fucked
differently.
around with it at all?
No, not at all. No, I mean
Oh,
I've actually no. I
you
mean
didn't
I've
try the
had spam.
musubi?
No, no,
Oh,
I
got it,
have.
got
Yeah,
it, got
yeah.
it.
No, I've had that, but it's not something I like seek out.
Oh
Whereas
no, no,
before,
no.
like when I was younger, before I really understood what hot dogs were made of, I used to
Yeah.
be like eating the shit out of hot dogs.
Ugh.
But no, no not anymore. But I was going to say the thing I saw in Hawaii outside of the regularity of spam was the regularity of two plant medicines that are just getting kind of popular in the States, or actually the mainland, kava and kratom.
Yeah,
And they were
yeah,
just like all over the place. In restaurants, you can get like kratom tea, kava martinis, and shit like that.
yeah. I definitely well. Can't speak to bar menu creation in a while, but like I've seen kava on shit. Even like kava, I want to say is more mainstream than kratom for
Yeah,
me at least.
yeah.
Granted, I'm speaking from, I understand the wide reach of this podcast, but for someone who lives in Seattle, I see kratom. I've seen it. Well, also, maybe it's always been here, but I've known what the hell it is, so I take note of places like we sell it. Or you
Yes.
see it behind the counter.
Yeah,
Like
there's
I may
definitely
have, I
more
may have
signs
just,
for it
I
now.
may have been seeing that as a kid, but I thought it was incense.
Yeah,
Honestly.
yeah. But with that stuff, I mean, just a PSA for everybody out there, like the quality is always the best. Go for the good quality, and like the gas station quality is not. You're not going to get like really solid
No,
stuff
but
from there.
Adam, on the other hand, does recommend any kind of sexual supplements from the gas stations, like the ones that they sell behind the counter.
Of course,
that-
if you can't ask for it, it's not worth buying.
I think the Stinger is the one that looks like looks like a bumblebee.
Oh, I
You
don't
know.
even know that one.
Dude, well, if I read something, I can remember it.
No,
I have
of
that
course
weird
you
memory.
can. Yeah,
I mean,
no, I know you can.
I'm not against any kind of that supplement, but I wouldn't probably dip my toe in the water at the shit at the Circle K station first.
No. Being in Mexico recently, I would go to the Mexican gas or the pharmacies.
Farmaceria.
Yeah, and I mean they have that stuff all over the place.
Is it
You get
Farmaceria?
Xanax, you can get like all
Yeah,
kinds of
so,
stuff. Not stuff that I mess around with, but the fact you can
yeah,
get it
the
is
last
there,
time I was in Mexico, well, okay, the time before that, so the last time I wasn't in a position that I was in, but the time before that, the big thing at the Mexican drugstore is that they sell somas, which are those muscle relaxers.
Yeah, totally. Uh huh.
And I was always like, hey, we should go buy some, and I never did. It's not an opiate; it's a little different. But,
Right, yeah.
That's from, and I think they also sell the Tylenol with codeine in the Mexican pharmacy.
They do
down there,
most
too.
definitely. Yeah.
Which is definitely, I'm not advocating anyone fly back with shit, but I think that's worth it. Even if you're just sleepy one night.
My so the thing that was really funny to me when we were down there recently was the push they have for the steroids. Like there's just signs
Oh, like
all
testosterone and
over.
HGH and shit.
all over. Yeah, totally.
So like I go get meat headed out and shit
Yeah.
before I go to the club.
Crazy.
Well, from what I understand in Mexico, they're also like very close to legalizing weed on a national level.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they
which
are.
is fucking awesome. I mean, I last time I was down there wasn't looking for it, but I don't foresee any problems with finding it if I did. In fact, actually, let me rephrase. I turned it down a couple of times when I was down there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to find.
Yeah.
Easy to find. We were down there. I think it was the second. Well, the first day we got down there, the person we were meeting had been down there for a couple days and already had some stuff. And by the time we got to the second place we were going, I actually ran into a guy that I knew from
That's
the last
so
time I was there.
funny. That is so funny.
It was
That
great.
is so good.
Carlos, Adam. like,
Yeah,
shit.
I mean,
I'm a pretty recognizable
you are.
guy.
You
I don't really
are.
change my look. Heavily
for better,
tattooed. I got a
for
man
better,
bun.
for
I mean,
worse.
like,
It's that kind of shit has happened to me too.
right.
And being a bearded guy with glasses.
Well,
it
and we're
just kinda-
personable. We talk to people. We like.
in theory, we like to think we're personable. I mean, so much so that we record ourselves talking so much.
I'm
so
pretty personable nowadays.
Well, I think what makes us quote personable, Adam, is our lack of ego. So if we sit here and stroke how personable we are, huh? How's that? Huh? How's that?
Good on you.
Yeah, lack of ego. Yeah, that's probably a fucking ego thing to say. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, the ego's always there. It's always back there.
Yes.
Just can't let it drive all the time. It serves its purpose. Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I was explaining that to a friend. He was like, I actually don't have an ego. Everyone gives me shit that I don't have an ego or that I have this big ego. I'm like, yeah, it's because we kind of, think it's funny. We know you don't. If you fucking did, we wouldn't fucking hang out with you because you'd be an asshole.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
it's kind of the whole thing. Like you joke with the person because you know you can. Like I have a friend who, I don't know if obviously it is ego, but I have a friend that just. There's certain, like, I won't bust his balls about shit because he just does not take that shit well. Like, and it's just like, okay, well, that, for whatever reason, is where you're, quote, I'm not going to sit here in front like I'm the most secure guy, but, like, that's, quote, where that person's insecurities kind of show up,
Right, yeah.
And it's like, okay, fuck.
Sometimes we don't know until that button's pushed.
That's
and then
fair.
you're like, oh, yeah, okay, cool, got it.
And with that person in question, it's like, it's just like, it's funny because I wouldn't know if that's still an issue now.
Right.
But it's just like, well, actually, if it is, he's a pretty good sport about it because me and my buddy, whenever we hang out with him, I'll just flip him shit nonstop and he just sits there and takes it. So I guess maybe.
Right.
Maybe he's grown out of it. I don't know. Maybe if he does, you don't go on another fucking trip to San Diego with him. But, I don't know.
Well, the ego's going to pop up in these weird places no matter what we do. And so hopefully it's you get to the point to where you can recognize when that happens. And then maybe in the afterthought, say, okay, so why did that trigger? Okay, why did my ego came up? Because I had this trigger. Why am I still triggered by this? Can I do some work around that? I had a recent one with my brother, my older brother, Aaron. We were in Mexico and we were in Sayulita. And it was just something stupid. We were the next morning after we got there, Aaron grabbed a beer and he said, "I guess I need a little hair of the dog." And we was like, "Well, where'd that term come from?" I'm like, well, let's look it up. So we looked it up.
The dog that bit you.
Yeah, hair of the dog that bit you.
But what is the rest of it?
So the that is the phrase, and so
it's a Nazareth song too.
But where the lore comes from behind that is in Native American times. If you were bit by a wolf, the chief of that tribe would go find that wolf, kill it, take some hair from it, bring it back, and use that as part of the medicine. To heal the person that was bit.
Oh.
And so, but Aaron was like, and love to Aaron, he was like, oh, that's bullshit. And I immediately was like, how do you know? We don't know, this is, and I'm not advocating that that's the end all be all, but I'm not dismissing it either, and I went on this diatribe about it, blah, 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 but I leaned into it a little bit more than I should have. For no reason at all. Like, he wasn't encroaching. He just said this thing, and I just kind of leaned into this, like, you don't know, kind of mentality.
You're not really that guy usually to do that.
Not at all. But he's my brother.
Yeah, it's your older brother, dude.
And this is, I'm leaning more towards this new metaphysical kind of mentality.
Yeah. No.
For whatever reason, my ego popped up, and I was like, no. And just had that moment where
funny.
but again, like, I was able to have that moment, and now looking back, look at it differently and say, okay, why did that guy pop up? And part of it is it's my brother, and I'm trying to, like, show him the knowledge that I have in this understanding of life and this opportunity for this new type of knowledge to be out there. But at the same time, I'm also this little kid that's, like, stamping my feet and, like, waving my hand at him.
Well, it's just, I mean, kind of, yeah. Well, fucking don't even get me started about, like, my brother and I's complicated relationship. But, like, back to kind of the earlier thing about, like, this might come as a tremendous shock, and anyone who's maybe listening to this might also come as a tremendous shock. I've been known to talk a little shit. Mm-hmm. I know. If we had one of those soundboards, the record would skip right now. But yeah, like
plates clanging and shit.
Like on Animal House when they walk in to see Otis Day and the Knights, and the only white people in the club.
Great scene.
But I'm under the firm belief, if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't laugh at others, or
Right.
Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones is kind of the inverse of that. But it's just like, if you're gonna make a joke, you got to be able to take a joke. Like, and
Right.
that's just kind of the whole thing. So
I've known a lot of people though that are like the biggest shit givers. Like they will incessantly
there's somebody
till
comes to
people
mind. I'm not
cry.
gonna say this person's name, but it was just like we just.
But as soon as you flip it on
Oh
them,
God!
they
Like
crumble.
cry.
Oh my
Like
gosh,
just
yeah.
literally like just like a
Totally.
house of cards. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, that's not the way this fucking works. And what I said was, if we're going on a 1 to 10, you were like a 7.5, and I'm like a 3.
Exactly.
And you can't come at
Exactly.
me like I just did a 12 and just nucleared your mom and your grandmother in the same comment.
Dude, I used to work with this guy.
Hate that shit. Hate that
Worked
shit.
with this guy at this nightclub, and I love him to death. He was like a brother to me, and but he would just incessantly give you shit, like so bad. But yeah, as soon as you turn it around on him, like it would make me feel bad the way that it hurt him, because it really did. I could see it hurt him. It wasn't just like an act, and I'm like, God damn, man, like. Well, fuck you.
I had to go to like apologize,
like
re-apologize, and then they like do another joke to like flip it.
Right, exactly.
And then I'm like, okay, well, this is a bunch of bullshit. Fuck you. Fuck you. I meant everything I said.
Right, exactly.
I'm tripling down. Where's your great grandmother?
Right, tripling down. Oh man. Speaking of great grandmother, what's the segue into holidays, man?
That's a great segue.
Yeah. Is that a good segue?
No, I don't know.
think it was.
I never actually knew a great grandmother. Did you?
Oh yeah, I had a great grandmother.
Yeah.
On my mom's side.
Yeah, my best friends, they all have had great grandmothers. Well, of course, my parents are. I was actually giving them shit about this at Thanksgiving. I was like, yeah. Still to this day, we were talking about like the as you, I would say some families are, you kind of reminisce and talk about earlier times and whatnot, especially at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But I was like, I remember complaining to my parents, like, after, like, the first grade that they were older than all the other fucking parents. Like, back in 1991, I was pissed off about this shit. Now I think about it and grimmer, more mortality stings.
Yeah.
But, like, it was just literally, like... And it was funny, I even said this, in many ways, I go, my parents were kind of, quote, ahead of the curve. Because now that is much more the trend to have kids in your late 30s.
Right, yeah, right.
Or not at all. Like,
so you don't have any grandparents right now? Or do you have grandparents?
Blood, no.
Okay. Yeah, my grandmother was the last one. Agnes, rest in peace. Just passed away this last year.
That is a bona fiable, rock solid grandparent name.
Oh,
fucking
dude. Okay.
Agnes.
Check this out. Great grandparents on my dad's side. On I guess my great grandfather. His name is Balzer. I had never even heard, I don't know, honestly. But I never even heard of that name.
I've never heard of that name either.
Balzer. And my mom told me with a straight face. I learned this last this when we were home for the holidays just recently.
I
And
never
she told me with a
saw
straight
that.
face, and I'm like, you cannot just look at me with a straight face, Fay Real, and say Balzer. And
Oh,
not
you
just
first
like,
and last, your mom?
Of course, man. Sometimes I'll triple name her if she
See, I don't need
deserves
to.
it.
Don't say it because I haven't heard it. I haven't heard it. She hasn't told me it, and she hasn't done anything to warrant it.
All I'm gonna say is this: Faye is her middle name.
Oh fuck! I didn't. Oh, maybe I do know that. I could probably figure that out. I'm friends with her on Facebook. I think.
Yeah.
Could go figure that if I really needed to.
Yeah, but
Man. Or I could just I don't know, just text your mom right now.
Yeah, you could totally. Man.
But I don't really.
I just talked to her earlier.
Oh well, yeah, I know. It's just funny. Actually, I gotta double check that. I think I do have your mom's phone number.
Probably do. I wouldn't doubt it.
Well, no nefarious reasons, but
Yeah.
I don't have Faye's phone number.
But there are some cool older names. My I think on my mom's side, her mom's name or her grandma's name was Mahala, which is kind of a cool name.
I worked with a Mahala, but she was fuck, that makes it. She was like Russian or Eastern European.
Gotcha.
Look at that. Not saying Russian. You don't say Russian.
My mom's side is Polish.
Well, that's not Eastern European, but yeah.
That's not Eastern. Okay.
I don't know what the fuck. Actually, I always view Europe as like this part, and then everything over there is.
the other
You
stuff.
know, as I use the magic of the podcast, everyone who's listening totally saw what I did with my hands.
Robin made a column type shape with his hands in front of him.
Yeah.
For this part, and then waved his hands to the
over
right.
to another side. I guess I would have meant that
Whimsically
for like, you know, the imagination, for the wisdom of the radio.
Yeah.
If it were left and right or east and west, I guess. But
well,
yes,
let's do cardinal directions.
Cardinal.
Yeah.
Never eat sour watermelon.
Oh, mine was never eat soggy waffles.
Shredded wheat was the other one. Soggy waffles.
Soggy waffles, man. Which I kind of like soggy waffles because they're
I think syrup and butter is over fucking done on waffles and pancakes. Yes, very necessary, very fucking necessary. Yeah. But you don't need to coat that shit. And not only that, like I haven't been to IHOP in a grip.
No, it's been a minute, man.
But like those motherfuckers, they give you like a goddamn like 3 scoops, like it's like a banana split of butter on your fucking pancakes. Yeah, like, man. Dude, I'm good. Yeah, like I need some chalk lubrication.
Right. Yes. So my dad, when we were younger, my dad was a truck driver, coast to coast truck driver. So he came into town. We needed to go work on his truck, so he picked me up one early morning, and we went to work on his truck. And he took us to a little truck stop diner, and I ordered some pancakes, and pancakes come out, and it's just like. It's a truck stop diner. If you've never been to a truck stop driver, it's like
fuck, yeah,
greasy as fuck,
yeah.
dirty, like just strong ass coffee. You know? I think I was like 10, and so we're eating, and my dad's like, "How you like your pancakes?" I'm like, "They're good, but they're lemon flavored. I didn't know I ordered lemon waffles or lemon pancakes." And he goes, "Oh, that's not lemon flavor. That's the cleaner that they use for the grills. It's fine. You're fine." And I'm like. Oh, okay. I just like vividly remember my dad's like, it's like one of those like put hair on your chest kind of things. You're fine.
You know, my brother and I used to do that, and it's like, oh, the one who had an untimely early death of some rare form of cancer because he ingested too many chemicals.
He ate here like 5 times a week.
Yeah, shit. Yeah. I always. That was at our old job, watching the guys at the Hook clean the flat top with fruit punch.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, just like fill up a pitcher of fruit punch and then just pour that on the
acid from it,
and the sugar.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's old. That's an old school trick. You used to use lemonade back in the day.
Yeah, I like that because well, actually, let me rephrase. I think they used lemonade at our job. They used fruit punch at my job before that.
Oh, right.
Because I think they had fruit punch. We had fruit punch on the fountain.
Ah, yes.
The fountain.
That's fancy.
Yes, on the fountain.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So our tangent that we're dancing towards today is what holidays mean to us.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about holidays, but we can fucking do that all day. Oh, what's your favorite side dish? Mine's mashed potatoes and gravy, but that's by no means a fucking... What's yours?
I don't know, man.
As we rattle off some bull...
Oh, it's depending on my mood, you're going to be like... man.
Oh, yeah, fucking hard time with favorites.
Yeah, I'm a big stuffing fan. But it was funny because down south they call it dressing. And that was kind of funny to watch Monica and my mom go back and forth with the misunderstanding of stuffing and dressing.
Oh, I can imagine.
Because especially with the vegan involved, Mom thought she was looking at like dressing for the salad.
Yeah.
That was vegan dressing.
Yeah.
And so she was like saying these things and my mom was like talking about vegan dressing.
Yeah, no.
It was like a whole Abbott and Costello who's on first kind of situation. Like, it was pretty great. Like, I was really amused for a while about that. But yeah, I think stuffing.
But the holidays. So this brings up the whole thing. Is for me, my family's tiny, and for better or for worse.
Right.
We all still live in the state, but we, the pandemic actually made my family and I a lot more. We talk on the phone more, and we're kind of, we weren't. It's not like we didn't do this, but I think we're probably trying to do it more now.
Yeah.
But the holidays, for lack of a better term, are really the only time in which we really prioritize spending time with each other, or like having dinner together. It's like because we live in the same state. I mean, you had to fly out of state to go see your family. I know one of your brothers is here, but those are a lot of times like the only times in which I see my family.
Right.
Yeah. And I know for a lot of people that have to do shit like across state lines, it's like, what the fuck? You got your family here.
Yeah.
And it's just funny because it's just like, yeah, the holidays. That I guess that's a very weird way of saying the holidays. In many ways, don't really mean shit to me. It's just for me, it's like an excuse to go see my family. May not.
Right.
I love my family. I love spending time with my family. But it's like in many ways the only time in which I know I'm gonna do it.
Right. Yeah. No, I feel you on that. No, I've had a very jaded past with holidays. Growing up, my parents, were great with celebrating the holidays. My mom was always like, Christmas trees and
Oh,
stockings
I
and
could
blah blah
imagine
blahs
Faye
and all
not
the,
fucking around with that.
Halloween. We all did the trick or treating and had the costumes and Easter eggs. We all did the hunts and shit. So like our family is very rich in that, like the culture of that, right? We
Did you
did the
decorate? All right,
holidays.
so like, actually, so this is another thing, and this is I understand it now.
Yeah.
But like, my dad never decorated the house. Did your dad ever do that shit?
No, well, it was more of a mom. My mom drove the bus on all of that. My dad would,
Well,
if
like
he
a
was in
lights
town.
outside kind of shit.
Yeah, no,
Oh, okay.
definitely. My mom would have my dad put that stuff
Oh,
up.
Faye
And
was
when we
like,
got
get the
old
fuck
enough,
out.
yeah, when we got old enough, that would be our job.
Yeah.
Ladders and
Oh
staple
yeah,
guns
we
and
would
shit.
never,
Yeah.
never,
No, we did some stuff outside. Trees and stuff like that.
never,
Totally. Yeah.
never.
But when I had a family, with the kids, when I was with Sydney, Peyton's mother, we had traditions and we did that.
I could see that being really fun.
Yeah, it was great.
Being
It was great.
like, but it's just like I did not to make it back about me again as I interrupt this fucking conversation
Huh.
again. But it's just like I live by myself, and it was like occasionally, oh, you're not gonna get a tree. It's like honestly, I'm not anti Christmas, but seriously, like, what the fuck is the point? I'm gonna be the only one who's gonna see it probably for the next month.
Right.
Honestly.
Right.
Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if the idea of like, if it makes you feel better that I have a tree, then great. But like, really, I live by myself, dude.
Right. And I get that, and so what kind of the roundabout thing I'm getting to,
Whatever.
when I had my kids to, and the family thing at that point in time, like we did celebrate. And when we separated, I can look at this now and understand and see the line that was drawn. But back then, it was just kind of a subconscious shift into fuck the holidays.
Fair.
And
Yeah.
so, and it really kind of showed up in a comedic way. I was joked about a lot at work about how much I hated the holidays, and people called me Scrooge, and like there was
Yeah.
like caricatures made and songs and all these fun things.
Yeah.
Madison was a big proponent for a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. You embraced it to
Yeah,
a
I did,
certain degree.
and I
To a
did,
certain degree, yeah.
But at one point, I finally looked at it and I'm like, well, because but I would still celebrate with the kids, right? Whenever I did have the kids for the holidays, we would do the thing.
Yeah.
But my heart wasn't really in it, and I think they could see that. But now, now having a chance to kind of be an observer of that and look at that and kind of dig into why and see that there was a transition when when my relationship with Sydney separated, and that correlation with my hatred of holidays. It took me a while to understand that holidays are more about like the family and the traditions and things like that than about some made up kind of like we're gonna celebrate a bunny that shits
Yeah,
out eggs,
and part of
and
that
that was part of my like justification for holidays back then.
Well, that's an easy one, especially for me.
It is, it's super easy with that.
One thing thinking about, fuck, we might even just stay on subject now. That was good on drawing us back in.
Yeah.
But like, one thing I do, for Christmas, for example, and I'm, like, so when we worked together, you kind of did have that curmudgeon-y, like, oh, fuck Christmas, or you'd have your own way of saying that,
Right,
it would be more creative than
Krampus. That was I embraced Krampus, which is the I'll talk about Krampus
you'd always
later.
be like, oh, I'm a bad gift giver. And it's like, no, you fucking weren't. And, you actually, and while you may not want to give yourself credit, you put thought into all those gifts that you gave people, and you did a good fucking job. And I know you're bad at taking compliments like I am, but it's like, that maybe even in your most aggressive hatred for it, you still took that part of it seriously.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't
Right.
shit on it. You didn't give a fucking gift card.
Yeah. I think, when I talk about it like that, it gives me an excuse to fail and be okay with that. Whereas like, I do put a lot of thought into the things that I do.
Yeah.
And I hope that it's reciprocated, or not reciprocated, but it's received with the understanding.
And it always has been.
But,
if we're going to use that example, yeah.
Right. But, my way of like saying that I don't give a shit is, basically my armor for that.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know?
no, dude, you're talking. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, there's the reason why we're friends. For if we're gonna use Christmas for example, like I do like the fact that it gives me an opportunity to buy people gifts,
Right.
in which it'll be viewed as a, you know, it. See, this is the thing. This is one thing. Is I also will just if I see something and it's cheap and I'm thinking it makes me think of that person. That's a no brainer for me. That purchase is getting made and I'm giving it to that person.
Right. Yeah.
But like right now is around the time in which I not like any of this shit is viewed with any kind of questioning thing. But now it can be done with kind of more of a blank check. You know what I'm saying? Like if you just do this shit willy nilly all the time, people are gonna wondering why they're not getting gifts and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it is a time for me to kind of do that. Unfortunately, it's funny because I couldn't even tell you realistically what I want for Christmas anymore.
Yeah.
Same way my parents can't really do it.
Yeah.
I don't really fucking care. In all honesty, I would like to just, be able to hang out with my family. Thankfully, my relationship with my family is good, and it's always
Right.
that's a big caveat that we do need to touch on. Is like, thankfully, like I can assume based on I know, but what I've seen, your family relationship's good, mine is good too. So I look forward to the holidays because
Right.
it's a time in which I get to. My brother and I shit on each other all the time. I still love the fucking guy.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Like I just missed a text from him. It's not like I'm gonna fucking ignore it. I'll look at it and probably respond and maybe go hang out.
Right.
But it's like there's definitely not every holiday, but there probably will be an argument this Christmas that I'm just gonna be like, it's not gonna be good.
Right.
But it's like it's still gonna involve me, absolutely dominating and destroying and winning. But that's not the point. It's not a matter of declaring
nobody's
victory.
keeping score.
Nobody's keeping score. I mean, I won.
We all
and
just know.
I won, and I'm going to win. But it's not about declaring that. I'm not that guy who needs
You're
to
Babe
do
Ruth
that.
in that shit,
I don't
huh?
need to sit there and declare victory. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that guy. If I was that guy, I would need to say I won.
Yeah, I'm very lucky as well. We have a very good familial relationship between all the brothers.
Oh yeah,
and
your
my
family's
mom.
the shit. Well, so actually,
Teresa, Monica, like we all just get along very well.
I mean, and I admittedly hung out, and we talk about like when we started to hang out, and I think it's important because there was actually kind of a switch, and like it was a professional, and then it just became we were friends at work, but then we became friends.
Right.
But I started to see more of the holiday shit because I was also invited to more of it.
Yeah,
so that's the other
totally.
thing. But I'm around your family, and if you're not fucking having a good time at some of this shit, you are a damn good actor. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's also like I'm not big into all this shit either, and this is also around. This isn't my family. I mean, I know your family, but this isn't my family. But it's like I have a good time too,
Right.
doing all that shit that I normally would just talk smack about and fucking hate on for the
Right.
sake of hating on it.
Right. And that's what I started to realize about myself.
It's like it's not even worth it just carrying that bullshit around.
Exactly.
It's like fuck it.
It's
I have no problem shitting on Valentine's Day. I think that's fucked.
Well, so I still have I still don't agree with the holiday.
The consumerist fucking
Exactly.
whatever spend.
I do still have my issues with
Black
holidays.
Friday's a fucking big deal.
Yes,
And Cyber.
yes.
Granted, I usually end up buying some shit because shit is cheaper.
I really struggle with a lot of that, but that's not something I project on everybody. That's
Fair.
that's my own internal thing that I'm working on. And that's the way that I work on things. I'm not very vocal like externally with like, what you should do with your life, because I'm really trying to figure out how to do it with my life. And that doesn't mean that if I do figure out how to do it with my life, I'm going to get up on my soapbox. But, everybody has the right to live their life the way they feel like it, and that's their information and their knowledge to have.
Of course.
But, if we hang out and the subjects come up, I'll share the knowledge that I have. But again, not to change your mind. It's just to share knowledge. It's just great. Like
that's a big. It's kind of like the only time in which I will ever voice kind of shit, and I don't ever poke the bear in public and stuff. But the only time in which I will actually voice stuff is like you're making it my fucking business because you're doing it in public.
Right. Totally. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like behind closed doors is a whole other thing. But sorry, you were saying
No, and I think that's it. You know, when we decide to bring our thoughts and our views out in public, we're welcoming criticism and feedback.
Well, in theory,
Exactly.
a lot of times those people aren't welcoming of it. But I'm like,
exactly.
You wouldn't be fucking. I wouldn't be sitting here telling you to fuck off right now if you weren't sitting here doing this.
Right.
Whatever this is.
Right. And that's that's what I meant. I did not preface that in theory. I think that's the big thing, and that's like that's like assuming everybody has common sense.
Well, it's just it's
that
tough
shows
for
the
me.
lack of common
and
sense. To assume common sense.
I know this will be another just shocking thing, like water is wet, but I tend to be more on the liberal side of the political spectrum, and just about everything, especially my use of colorful language, but. Different use of the word liberal, though. Deep vocab. Cha-boom. See, if we had more of that soundboard, there'd be like the cash register. Cha-ching. Fuck, I don't even remember what I was saying. I was too busy congratulating myself on my vocab.
Liberal amount of...
Oh, yeah. Back to that. Yeah, but this is the thing. It's like political. So I don't go and, coincidentally, I surround myself with... people that agree with me politically, but I don't really talk politics with anybody.
Yeah.
Really, I don't. And I sure as shit don't go out and really ever volunteer that information.
Right.
And I do find it objective. And, it's a self-serving thing because the other side tends to be more declarative in a lot of this stuff. But I have a big problem with that. And that's when it's like, okay, fuck you. You're doing this in public.
Right.
Like
I appreciate the conversations where
let's have the conversation, but it's also that's not a conversation.
Yeah, so I think the way that I try to steer the conversations that I have now, if they ever get to a point to where it's, side versus side or point counterpoint kind of thing, it's more so I'm not trying to change your mind from your point of view. I'm just trying to share the knowledge that I have. And so as you share your knowledge back to me, let's try to keep that front of mind. Don't try to change my mind. Just share the information that you think is most important about this subject that you feel passionate about. And I think if we can approach it like that, which takes some time and practice, especially with newer people, if I'm not... if it's somebody that I'm not used to conversating with, and not to say I'm trying to set parameters for a conversation, but it's just like,
I will meet with him on preconditions only.
No, but there's just ways you can guide the conversation. Like if you show respect when they get aggressive, then they can feel that and see that and start to change their approach.
A lot of times,
so it's a lot about practicing conversation.
Probably guilty of, let's just say I am, just for the sake of making it easier. But a lot of times, especially when you get into conversation or debates like this, is a lot of times they literally will, and let's just say I to make it easier, people will, literally, they'll hear you, but they're doing that only to kind of wait for the break in the conversation just to hit back their point.
Yep.
Like, won't talk over you, because as soon as you start doing that, then we're not having a conversation, and now you've automatically lost, in my opinion. You could be arguing the earth is round and I'm arguing the earth is flat, but the second you kind of, in my mind, lose all, quote, decorum and what is respectful conversation, here I am using words like that when I've said probably the C word 7 times on this podcast. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a certain level of, okay, we're not doing this.
Right. No, and I do feel that. I think that's a big important part, that we don't fully listen to the person's entire statement before
it's very hard for me on a lot of issues. It's like there's non-starters for me.
There's a couple guys that I've listened to,
which is tough because that's how we get mired in a lot of the problems we have right now. As opinionated I am about the fucking Eagles, I still will recognize I do like a couple of their tracks. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying?
I do. There's a couple guys that I listen to that aren't, well, I guess they're just thinkers, and they're writers about like the economics and the not really political as far as like one side or the other, but more of a like, hey, how can we like just figure out how to be better at politics? So they're separate people. One is Daniel Schmachtenberger, and the other is Charles Eisenstein.
Those are 2 guys that did the camp. There was two candidates that did an ad together.
No, they're not political candidates at all.
Okay, would you hear about these 2 guys? I don't know. They were in like Utah or some shit, one Republican, one Democrat, and they did an ad together just saying, we don't agree, but we also think we should not really crap on each other.
That's great.
So I think you should vote for me, and the guy's like, I think you should vote for me.
That's
I
great.
was like, this is the best thing I've ever
Good for
fucking
them.
seen in my entire
Good for
life.
them. That's fantastic.
It was the best thing. Anyway,
I
keep
never
going.
even heard of that.
Yeah, it's great.
No, but they're these two guys, and they just have similar type of ways of conducting the like just being in a conversation with them, and so listening to them on a podcast, for example, like let's take Daniel Schmachtenberger or Charles Eisenstein, listening to our podcast, like the host of the podcast will have this long diatribe kind of thing, and this question that's being asked through this diatribe, and then like that the host is done with their part and there's just silence for almost like 10 seconds, and then like it's almost to the point to where you gotta like check your phone to make sure you didn't like
did
lose
shit turn
connection,
off? Yeah, my podcast died. Yeah,
and then you'd hear a breath, and then this beautiful answer would come back, and you really understand that he took the entire time to really feel that question and to feel the information that was being given to him by the host before he wanted to give his full answer. And the answer was beautiful. It was very eloquent, and it answered the entire statement of what the guy had said, not just a portion of, like we were talking about. So I think if we can get into an understanding to where we can give people the time to fully have their statement uninterrupted, right? Uninterrupted, like have your part of that statement, and then give that person the time to understand that statement, and then give the retort instead of this instantaneous listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me.
Certain things, and I acknowledge my own bias. There's non-stars with me. I don't care what the fuck how you're gonna say it. There's certain shit I don't want to hear it.
Well, and that's fine, and that's fine, and that's
a lot of that's
we can still have those.
This is by no means some groundbreaking shit, but basically go along the lines of what 95% of actually I can't say that based on recent election results, but what I thought the majority of humanity viewed as bigoted and fucking rude shit.
Right, yeah.
I shouldn't say rude because most people consider the way in which
yeah.
rude isn't the right way to say. Bigoted might be a better way to say.
Yeah.
But for what you determine as bigoted, but like there's certain shit I don't care what the fuck if you're arguing certain things that I view as archaic beliefs that people held at one point.
Totally.
So like the other thing is I won't paint a thing, but I thought definitely once we kind of wrapped our head around getting on a plane and certain things science and stuff. I mean, I'm not acknowledging it, but in the 1400s, I can definitely sit there and say, like, yes, you look different. I can understand why that might harbor beliefs.
Right, because that's the first time you saw somebody that looked different than you.
This dude looks different than me.
And I'm sure that's the first time that person saw something that looked different
Probably
from them.
has the exact same reaction.
Right, take some time to get understanding
I
of
don't
that.
want to hear any of that shit now.
We didn't have the best results.
Don't want to hear any of that shit now.
Exactly.
Non-starter.
We're way past
you
that
could
shit.
come at this nice fucking thing. Anyway, that's the only thing. So
Well,
I can't take all that in. I won't sit there. I will talk over you on that one.
Have your non-starters.
Yeah,
Yes, that's totally fine.
I'm not talking to you like, hey, so stop telling me if you ain't right, you ain't right.
Yeah, right. But there are some people that can hold that kind of space. What was this guy? I can't remember his name, but there was a guy. He was a black preacher that used to go and visit the KKK Grand Dragon.
David Duke. It fucking sucks that I know his name, but I don't know who you're talking about.
It wasn't David Duke, but it was a different. It was a different chapter of some sort. But but he wanted to try to understand, and they formed this friendship between the two of them, even though they had vastly different beliefs, obviously.
Yeah, no.
There was a documentary about it. It was beautiful. I can't remember.
It's.
But that's not. I'm not saying you still shouldn't have your
of course. Yeah.
If you're and if you're that passionate about it, then yes. But also, you're understanding that if you're going into a conversation, it's gonna be an aggressive type of conversation. Like there's types of conversations you can go into and still have this information sharing, even if you don't share the same view. If it's one of your non-starters, right? But
well, so
sometimes passions get the best of us.
No. Yeah, of course. I've been known to be a passionate male.
That's quite.
But it's funny. A lot of times I will say this because when you mention like this person, like there was a prompt, and you're like, "Holy shit!" Like my phone stopped or whatever.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when I'm having a conversation with someone or a discussion with somebody, and I will quote, and this isn't some self-congratulatory thing, but you've probably heard me do this in times to you or in other conversations. There'll be that pause of like, I'm heard what you said. I just am unpacking what you're saying and trying to say. It's like I'm not evading the question or some
Right.
shit. Like I've had to say that because like they'll say something and I won't fucking respond. I'm like, heard what you said. Lot there. Give me a few seconds.
Yeah.
Uh,
And that's great, you know. And
but
I
that's
think
what I mean, fucking. And believe me, I need to work on my conversational skills a lot of times, my interpersonal stuff. But that is one thing, like a skill that I at times have. You know.
yeah,
But it's important, man. People need to feel like they're heard.
they
A
do.
lot of time, that's all it is.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about this on a previous podcast a while back about the what we didn't learn in school, and conversation is one of those things.
That shit's only getting worse.
It is, and so I think
Fucking
they're
texting, motherfuckers texting.
right. Yeah,
You
I've
can't
gotten
even.
better.
In fact,
I've gotten
in
better.
fact, I actually can be marginally upset with you based on your texting. Yesterday or today or whatever day that was. See, if you're gonna lean on texting, which you do,
I do. Yeah.
got to be better about that.
Well, to be
I'm
fair,
ba-
I had a group text with you, and then you on solo going at the same time,
Ta-da.
so that was tough.
That was tough, and then I soloed off that too.
Right.
That's podcast related, but we're not going to tell you what that
Totally.
is.
But I do feel that I think there needs to be some kind of needs to be. I think that it'd be good to focus on conversational skills, and that would help a lot with this letting people feel like they're heard, giving people the space to retort if they don't feel like they agree with what's being said. And there's still being mutual respect with disagreement.
What would
That's such a hard one right now.
Yeah, that's going to be the one. Is maintaining
if you don't
respect.
agree with
maintaining respect.
then we start dehumanizing each other.
Yeah.
You're a piece of shit. You're a fucking asshole. It's like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Well,
Still
it's
human
ways.
beings,
It's ways
even if-
to disagree with someone when they're not you.
right.
Yeah. I don't know how in which because I mean. I took public speaking classes and I took speech class. Well, let me rephrase. I took a speech class. Did I take any classes in college for that? Maybe not. So it's like I guess I took a class for this, but
Yeah.
I know this might come as a tremendous shock. Didn't need to,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You were born with the gift of gab.
but I could just see how difficult it would be to kind of foster and kind of really. I mean, obviously they have classes for this, but like, how do you really?
Well,
Especially now, I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm on my phone. For better for worse, iPhones will tell you how long you're on your phone. I'm not going to tell you that number. It's more than I want it to be. But it's like, shit, I was watching a movie with a couple friends earlier today. And 3 or 4 out of, there's 5 of us in a room. I think 4 of them were on their phone at any given time.
Right. Well, I think, there's a lot of...
That shit's only getting worse. These people are my age.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, there's a lot of jobs that I think people that used to train people on how to be, problem solving and things like that. Yeah. And client facing, customer facing jobs that are going away because of either necessity or they're being, potentially replaced by some kind of automation of some sort. And so that helped me a lot. I was a shy kid in high school, kind of overweight, and I didn't really have, I had a friend circle, but I wasn't like a standout person in that friend group. Well, but when I started working in restaurants, I learned how to conversate with people and talk to tables and talk to strangers.
Actually, it's funny. It's funny because I wouldn't necessarily. I wouldn't call you an outgoing person per se.
Yeah.
You're not. Even my first meeting of you, which was indirect because I was part of a big ass group. I wouldn't have considered. I did not. I had a favorable, for what it's worth. I had a favorable opinion of you.
Right.
But you didn't strike me as an outgoing personality.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't know if that was the place to be that way. But even that's just not who you are.
Right. Yeah.
No,
I'm not the life of the party.
No. That's not a bad thing.
No.
But it's like I could see, like, fuck, I mean, maybe it's just because I grew up around a bunch of shit-talking wise asses, so it's just like I either maybe maybe I was born with this or I had to learn this skill, otherwise I wasn't going to be heard.
Right. No, that's very...
Fuck, look at me actually
you.
think about that. That
Good
might
for
actually
you.
be where that came in.
That's a really cool...
This is...
cool little thing to peel back there.
Classic snapshot of my family at work. So we've already had a very modest Thanksgiving dinner. By no means, like, honestly, like, not talking shit about my mom's cooking or anything, but people would probably laugh at like the spread we had.
Yeah.
It's myself and my 2 tiny parents.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
But my mom doesn't smoke weed. My dad doesn't smoke weed anymore. He eats it, but
Right.
like she's been around ganj for a long time, and we're watching the local news, and I'm smoking weed, and my dad, had eaten an edible like 40 minutes or something before, so you could tell he's starting to feel it, and
Yeah.
like this guy's on the news, and this guy comes up and he's reporting on COVID and actually like an important news story. But I'm like, oh, look at that stupid fucking coat he's wearing. And then my dad's like, oh, stupid coat. My mom's like, shut up, I need to watch this. And my dad and I are literally just like she starts going, shut up, I need to watch this, blah, blah. My dad and I are all laughing, blah, blah. And she's like, guys, when he comes back on, I need to watch this. And then he comes back on, and my dad just keeps going about the coat and this, that, and the other and stuff. And I could just hear my mom just getting pissed off. And then like they're like, screen cuts. It's like, thank you for that very important report. We're moving on. We're never going to talk about that again. And I just see my mom just get so just resigned, like frustrated, but just like, fuck, how many times have we done that to her?
Oh, that's fantastic.
So funny. I'm just like, great.
That's good. That's good stuff. That's a good tradition, you know.
Oh, dude,
ribbing your mom, you know.
Well, no, we weren't even trying to, but it was just so funny. Like this guy, and it was a stupid looking coat, but it was just like that was the only thing. He could have been telling us the secret to life, and it was
Right.
just like, I don't care. You're wearing this coat.
42.
It's fucking so funny. Yeah.
Oh man.
But like, was that something? I mean, people go to classes for that. People meet like with specialists. You know, I mean, was that something you had to like consciously work on? I mean, fuck, you manage clubs and stuff, so I mean,
no, not really, but I can definitely, I mean, I could always hold a conversation and do that stuff, you know, that was fine, but I can, my ability to so right now, like, hold this podcast, right, with yourself, have this other stuff that I do, all that stuff was like, I can attribute that through the restaurant the restaurant life that I had. Waiting tables was a big part of that to build that confidence, but then also going through management, you're trained in a lot of that stuff. We have like constant, like monthly trainings with a lot of the places that I worked at about like management skills and like how to develop people and how to develop yourself. And here's your personality test. And here's this,
Thankfully, that job that you and I worked together did actually a lot of that. I disagreed with a lot of stuff they did company wide, but their vetting process for managers was thorough. And because of that, they for better or for worse, I definitely had to learn some shit about myself.
Right, yeah. Yeah, they threw some
Most
money at
notably,
some
how long it takes piss to get clean.
Hey.
Hi-yo!
Yeah, luckily I've never actually had to take a urine test for a job.
Yeah, that was the hey buddy.
Well, actually, I've never had to worry about taking
Congratulations. Congratulations, my friend. You gave me my only one for an employment. The only other time was my mom back in high school made me get one because I was fucking up, and Kazam, I was fucking up. She was right. The test was wrong, but it was right. It said what it needed to say.
Our HR director, who I will not name, at the time when we hired you, after we were, like a week into making you, like, told you had to take your test, she's like, I kind of feel bad making him do this. We only really do this for brewers. We need to stop doing this for restaurant managers. I'm like, yeah, this is dumb. You're going to lose a lot of talent pool. If you have to like hire multiple managers, like,
in the entire fucking time, I'm sitting there like, I wasn't cool with you on that level. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, man, if we could do that portion of the vetting process as late as possible, that would be great. I'm literally drinking cranberry juice in an unmarked container so you wouldn't fucking notice. I kind of feel bad. She's cool as fuck. She should have felt bad.
She's cool as fuck.
Well, it's also a waste of money.
It is, totally.
But I understand you got to do that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's funny. I wonder. I might guarantee my dad's opinion probably has to have changed on this shit. But a lot of places like drug-free company.
Oh, right.
And it's like, in theory, that kind of makes me feel better. But I'd rather it just say we can. The thing is like, I don't have a problem being screened for drugs. I got a problem being screened for pot.
Right. Well, fucking all the hard drugs
I just
metabolize out of your system,
and that's the fucked up thing. That's the fucked up thing, and that's the other thing.
It's like just don't do it while you're at your job.
And that's the thing is like I know just
alcohol.
About even the worst addicts I know have been able to squeeze 48 hours enough to get something clean.
Right.
But weed, for the cruel irony of it being useful for everything, is terrible for that, and it stays in your system
2 weeks
forever.
out. So yeah, I think that's the thing.
Oh,
is,
at
is
least
like,
I waited over a month because
yeah,
I was,
right.
you know.
But with any of that stuff, like alcohol, drugs, narcotics, whatever
Yeah,
you want to,
alcohol's 24.
just don't.
Most shit is 72. I
Just
think the longest is
I hope
70.
we get to a point with jobs. It's like you do whatever the fuck you want. It's your body.
Well,
Just I mean, that's
yeah,
respect your laws that are
yeah,
out
of
there,
course.
but just don't do that thing while you're at this job, right?
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, if I, and I mean, who knows what my professional career will be, but if there was another job in which I had to pee in a cup, well, probably I wouldn't apply, honestly.
Right.
But if it was like what, I'll be like, well, yeah, there's gonna be fucking pot on there. I smoke weed,
Yeah.
like I don't drink, but see, that's gonna be, oh, you don't, it's like, but see, it's like you shouldn't need to say that.
Yeah.
In my mind, but it's also like if you said you drink but you don't smoke weed. See, that's the fucking cruel irony. There is nobody gives a fuck about drinkers.
Right.
In fact, after you left the job interview, people be like, "What are you doing?" "I'm meeting some friends for happy." I'd be like, "Oh, have fun." That would be socially acceptable.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't say that, but that might not cost you the job.
Yeah. When I was down in Texas just this recently,
Tejas.
We were talking to a buddy about the criminal laws and how like Texas is getting to a point to where it's going to statewide decriminalize marijuana and
God, at least
more or
do
less
something,
legalize it to a point they can sell it.
Well, like City of Seattle for the longest time before we legalized it, they didn't really fucking care. The Seattle PD was like that was they was just like, dude, like just put it out, move on.
Yeah. But so the two like adjacent counties are Harris County, which is where Houston is. They've decriminalized marijuana, and there's like whatever. Montgomery County, right adjacent to it, which is where my mother lives, they have not at all decriminalized it. And so we're talking to them about dabs and even cartridges for vapes are treated like like crack, basically.
Fuck.
So if you get caught with any of that stuff, that's almost like a felony. That's like a strongest misdemeanor, but almost a felony.
Well, see,
you can go to jail for like almost like 3 months for that shit.
Well, no,
Getting caught with the fucking like
well,
dab.
so straight up, is that like not to ever fucking go down this narrative, but say your boy's down in Texas visiting, and for whatever reason I got my pen and I get fucking popped for that down there, like, and your boy in this narrative is me.
Yeah.
Does this just involve me never going back to Texas ever again?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, isn't that just stupid?
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that just
it's
fucking
so
dumb? Like, not like I'm no offense to the people. I do want to check out ACL and San Antonio and stuff, and I'll
well,
probably
over there
see.
it's decriminalized. You're fine over there.
But just no, but straight up, like, so Texas is out then, like
Yeah.
that would just be like, okay, so just never go back to Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's ignorant. So.
Stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas. Did you guys sing that at school every day or just every other day?
It was right after the national anthem.
Just every day.
Every
Pledge of
day.
Allegiance, national anthem.
Yeah, we all held blue bonnets and
Was
just,
football big at your school?
oh my god, dude.
How much was the what was the
Stupid
enrollment?
big.
How many seniors did you graduate with?
800.
That's a big motherfucking school. That's twice the size of mine. So we were like a 3A school. It might be different in Texas as in Washington. 4A is a higher level.
We're
but
5A, yeah.
yeah, so we were 3A, and I think we had like a total enrollment of like 1,200 kids. And I want to say I graduated like 435, something like that.
Yeah. I have no idea where I graduated at, but
Like 800 seniors though.
800 seniors, yeah.
Well, no, that's what I meant.
Oh yeah, 875 or 76.
That's a lot of fucking kids. It's a big ass yearbook, man.
It was big, yeah. It was crazy. It's funny. My mom actually found all the yearbooks.
Of course she
when we were down
fucking
there.
did.
Yeah.
Did Monica get good laughs taking
yeah, she
photos
did,
of you
totally,
goofy
man.
fucks in high school?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Any stupid fashion like that's visible in any of those photos?
Yeah, man. I did like a little side spike thing back in the day.
Yeah, like
Zach
like
Morris
any
style.
Bugle Boy shirt, because a lot of those elementary school and younger
yeah.
photos are like cropped where you can see like old like Minnesota Twins logo.
Totally, yeah. No, I can't remember. Nothing logoed. We weren't the most well off growing up, so we didn't have a lot of logoed shit. But it was more like just stupid ass hairstyles, man.
Yeah, your mom sent me when we were hanging out for your 40th. There was that really awkward photo of you with the guitar.
Yep, totally.
Yeah, you were awkward. I mean, I was an awkward fucking
Yeah,
kid
we're all
too.
awkward kids, man. Yeah, definitely. I bloomed after high school.
I'm peaking now.
Yeah, I'm currently peaking.
I just began to peak.
Peeking because I just ate a face full of
Yeah,
mushrooms about an
yeah,
hour
fucking
ago.
the window pane I took fucking 40 minutes ago. I'm peeking.
Well, you want to wrap this up, man?
Yeah, well, so holidays to
Yeah.
me though, basically, well, it's funny because we'll probably do a podcast about this one too. But like, there is some quote traditions I do. Like, I'm gonna, fuck, I just bought dork shit. I bought that Lego Home Alone house.
Yeah, that's dope. I can't wait
So
to see
yeah,
that.
that's cool as fuck. When you
I'm
come over, I'll
excited.
show you that. I'll like take it. Yeah, we'll dork out on that.
Fuck yeah.
But like I also when I ordered that got Home Alone 1 and 2 on Blu-ray because I'm sure I have that somewhere burned lying around. But I watch those two movies every year.
Great movies.
I usually will watch a couple of the staples every year. I always watch the Home Alone movies though.
Yeah.
Like that was and that was the wheelhouse for us as far as like a coming of age kids movie.
Definitely. Yeah.
Saw both of those in the theaters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was like the Christmas story of our time.
But yeah,
you know?
but other than that, I mean, for me, I just associate it with actually getting to spend time with my family, and it's a bullshit excuse because I can go hang out with my family whenever I want, but it's time in which I actually do it.
Right. Yeah. Now we, luckily, well, not luckily, but my kids are mainly with their mother.
Yeah.
But luckily, I do see them quite a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and when we do have the kids,
It's awesome.
My brother's here, and like it's a lot of family time. So luckily, we do have a lot of family time. So that's the main thing that I focus on now. Is the family that the time that we have, the traditions that we can create. And I'm still, like I said earlier, like my dealings with the legitimacies of the holidays themselves, I keep to myself unless somebody asks me about it, which I'm still trying to unpack. But I really do, just focus on that family time and just the appreciation for what you got when you get it. Like my oldest is now 17, gonna be 18 in May.
Yeah.
Off to college soon, like all that shit. My youngest is becoming a teenager next month. So, this time goes by quick. We all say that cliche bullshit, but
Well, I also think it's one of those things. Like, it's easy for maybe you and I to kind of have a cynical, shitty view of about a lot of these things because we've always been able to like have it, recognize it, and whether we choose to enjoy it is our choice.
Right.
Versus being in a situation in which there are some people that would kill just to share a room with people on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve.
Right.
So, like, I think actually, fucking more you know, as Robin sits here and becomes more zen and not zen and shit, is kind of maybe the holidays should be time and we reflect on what it is we do have. As much as I sit here and talk shit about my brother and whatnot, fucking still have one. Still, he will give me a hug and tell me he loves me and shit. So maybe we need to maybe if that's what the holidays are to you, maybe for me it's actually reflecting on what I do have and what we do have. We'll edit that. It sounded better earlier.
No, that's well. There you go, Robin. Jerry Springered it. That's
my final thought.
Your final thought.
I got to play me off, Johnny.
All right, we'll take a look at that. See you next time.